The Southeast has eventually dodged a bullet that was meant for it by the Southwest. There's a propaganda and bigotry that was meant to be dished out to the Southeasterners, but because they did not participate in the protest, now it is being dished out on the North. And this has resulted to ending a long-term relationship between the North and the Southwest. Now there's this chaos, there's this strife between the North and the Southwest. They are fighting seriously over this issue of protest and over President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. 8 years of Buhari, the North did not protest, but the Southwest were the ones defending Buhari. They were the loudest. The North just sat quietly and said that protest is haram during Buhari's 8 years of presidency, while the Southwest did the job of defending Buhari. When you look at all the people that spoke and defended the government of former President Buhari, you see that they are from the Southwest. See Additional and the likes, and many of the people that defended him online and said all sorts of good things about him. We gave him chance, he will perform and all sorts. It was even the Southwest that did the propaganda that got him the ticket the second time. But now with the Southwest is being disappointed that the North is not returning the favor. How did the APC get into power? Two things: violence, threats, and propaganda. So Buhari and his followers were supposed to handle the chapter that has to do with violence and threats, while Tinubu and his people were on the path of propaganda. That is how they got into power. So while Buhari was president, the threat, the violence was carried out by his people, which is the Fulani. They run rampage, they go village, they kill, they started killing and doing all sort of things. We had the Miyetti Allah becoming supreme in Nigeria. They had their guts to do anything they could do or they want to do to anybody, and they will go scot-free. They threatened people, the Fulani, under President Buhari. So Buhari was representing the threats and violence, while the APC Ronu and the APC Southwest were handling the propaganda. They did all the propaganda. Give him time. First year, give him time. For Buhari, second year, give him time. Third, fourth, fifth, we gave Buhari time, and he spent 8 years without anything to show for it. Even during the elections, they still defended Buhari because they wanted their messiah, that is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to become the president. They not understood this. They did not say anything. All they said was protest was haram. They had to carry out some threats on the southeast and some areas of the south, whereby the Fulani herdsmen were rampaging, going from farm to farm, killing people. Boko Haram resurrected and started doing all sorts. Now it is turn for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Just less than a year, the North is calling for protest. These two people, they are the same bedfellows, hypocrites, and they are not true to themselves. You can see the North has shown the Southwest that they are better at playing politics. They never told the Southwest not to protest. They just said that protest is haram. But now the Southwest is finding it difficult to understand why would the North, under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, despite the fact that Tinubu supported Buhari and defended his policies, why would they not want to protest? And it is getting worse and worse by the day. So far as we can speak, you can see it all over that the North and the Southwest, they are getting to end their long-term relationship, while the Southeast, the South, they are watching keenly. Whatever that is going to come out of this fight between the North and the Southwest, let it be to regionalism, let it be to having a Nigeria that will cater for the citizens. Currently, this federal system that we are practicing will not cater for Nigerians because there are very few people which are cabals, banking cabals, oil cabals, mining cabals everywhere that are holding the country ransom. The country will only favor them because they are getting enough to feed their family, to build houses, to tender for their allies, for their agberos, their thugs, their footmen. They are reaping from the country to feed these guys, not Nigerians. So the country as it is favoring the elite, the politicians and their allies. So if Nigeria gets to regionalism, it will at least get to the grassroots. The people will now decide what they want. Because I believe if Southwest has Oduduwa Tinubu will not be relevant. That is when they will tell Tinubu the truth. Now, because he's a president, they cannot say the truth. If there's a Southeast Biafra, whatever, you see that the Southeasterners, those people that think they are relevant, politicians now, will not have any home in the Southeast. So do we have in the North. So the Northern people are now realizing that what the Southeasterners have been taking from the Southwest and every other part of the country is so bitter that they could not hold on to it. So they decided to say, yes, we understand that the Southwest hates us, and we are going to show them 2027. All this while, the North has been calling Tinubu a one-term president. The North has been calling seriously a one-term president. They intend to vote Tinubu out 2027. We are not surprised we are seeing Russian flags. We are not surprised that we are seeing that the protest in the Southwest is coming down, while it is getting more intensified in the North, especially Kano and Kaduna. You can see that politicians from these states have fallen out with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And Tinubu is somebody that would never budge. Is somebody that is strong-hearted. Tinubu will never budge for these northern politicians. If they like, let them destroy their states. He remains the president. He knows what he can do to douse the tension. But the North is so determined. Whenever they make a decision, they stand by it till their death. The East, you are very happy that this is happening. We know that this kind of relationship that is built on light and the seas between the North and the Southwest will not last. Relationships that is built on hypocrisy between the North and the Southwest will not last. It will eventually come to an end one day. And it's gradually coming to an end as we speak. You can see politicians going against themselves. You can see on social media the North going against the South. This one called these ones hypocrites. The other one called those ones cows. They tried bringing Igbo into the frame, but did not call their bluff and said, we understand the game, the gaslight we are trying to do. We know that it is the Southwest that is sabotaging, that is gaslighting most regions. It is going to be evident that at the end of the day, everybody will be so conscious that they want a referendum. We are moving to that. We are on the way to that. Everybody will be so conscious. Everybody in different regions. Most people are now calling for referendum, regionalism. Many people did not call. They were not thinking in that aspect, in that level. You are not looking at that angle. But now you can see people are calling for referendum. Tinubu, like I said in my previous broadcast, Tinubu may be Nigeria's last president. And there's nothing the North can do that can shake Tinubu. I know what I'm saying. He cannot budge. Instead of him not to become president, the country will divide. You can't say Tinubu will not spend 8 years. He was not president. He won the primaries in APC despite the intimidation, despite the opposition. He won the presidency, capturing INEC and every institution. They announced him winner. INEC president, not when he's the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Are you going to tell me that you are going to give Tinubu the Abiola treatment? Or don't you know that the Southwest know that they need to play their game in a way whereby they can keep Tinubu in power? They need to play their game. Whoever they can use as the scapegoat. They tried using the Igbos, especially at this point in time. It did not work. They tried gaslighting the North, telling them that Igbos deceived them into protesting. See as your state is now. The Northern elements, the people in the North called their bluff, exposed their propaganda, their lies, their gaslighting, and everything they were doing to make sure that they align with the Southwest. But it is going to be a tough one for the Southwesterners. The Igbos sitting there looking, watching as the North and South are devouring themselves. What is going to happen 2007? 2007, the Southwest is going to try as much as they can to win the hearts of the North. But the North will disagree. Most of the North will disagree. Some leaders can be bribed, can turn their backs, can get bribed. But most of the North will disagree. The trust they have for the Southwest has gone. If they are going to work together, they are going to work together suspecting themselves in suspicion. That is what they are going to be doing now. Suspicion. Not be suspecting the Southwest. They cannot work together as it were. After 2007, when Tinubu wins the election, it is my opinion. I'm not telling you not to have your opinion. This is my opinion. This is what I see. I'm not saying this is going to be the winner. I can predict, looking at the things that are playing out, I can predict. So my prediction is that Tinubu is going to win second term. Since we all like lawlessness in Nigeria, we all support lawlessness, and you expect lawlessness not to have its place. Most people we see today that are supporting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu supported lawlessness. Look at what is happening to journalists in Ojota. Look at how agberos are using clubs and cutlasses, shovels to chase away journalists in the full sight of the police. The police is there watching as these guys are taking this action. We love lawlessness. We plant seeds of lawlessness. And what the police doesn't know is that when you turn a blind eye to lawlessness, when it's being planted, it will soon germinate one day and it will overpower you. This lawlessness that we have started in Nigeria, disregard for the constitution, it will overpower everybody one day. We have decided to support a lawless society because of tribe, because of religion, because of political affiliation, because of interests. You jettison justice, fairness, and equity. That is why Tinubu is going to win the next election. If you want to go and hit your head in the wall, hit your head in the wall. Look at the Imo State election. An example of how Uzodinma won the election is the same example of how Tinubu is going to win next election. I know Southwesterners that are watching, they are happy. In their hearts of hearts, they're happy. They don't care. They don't care to look at the indices, how this man can win elections. This first 4 years is not enough for Tinubu to perform and convince the people. Fixing Nigeria's problem is not enough. 4 years is not enough to fix Nigeria's problem, at least the ones we are facing. Although Tinubu came in and made it worse, removing subsidy and not showing by example, by cutting their ostentatious lifestyle, by cutting spending. If he removes subsidy and we are also prudent, asking Nigerians to tighten their seatbelts to bear, and the Nigerians are also seeing them doing the same thing, nobody will complain. But how would you say you remove subsidy, people are suffering, but you are getting fat, you are getting bigger, you are getting richer, you are getting more investment, you are getting more funds for your house, your cars, and everything at the expense of Nigerians? That's why the fact that you people are billionaires in Naira, you have nothing to lack. You're asking Nigerians to sacrifice while you are there not sacrificing. It is going to be a very wonderful, wonderful season to be alive when we talk about the 2027 general elections. The North and the West are going to battle it out. The Southeast is going to wait. Like I said, the Southwest will want to court the North, want to play a fast one on the North. Now that everybody have understood the propaganda that whether it is the Southeast or that people play these days, all the propaganda they have been playing since 1960, it has been identified. So when you play a propaganda, when you gaslight people, people know and they will expose you. So there's no amount of gaslighting that may turn the hearts of the North to still support the Southwest. Because with Southwest votes, you cannot win an election. With the Northern votes only, you cannot win an election. So there will be a compromise, and that compromise will be where Tinubu will step in with however he's going to galvanize his structure. His structure. There are different structure. There's a real structure and there's a structure of criminality. I don't think Tinubu has the real structure. That's my opinion. It is not sellable. It's not sellable. I was passing through a street one day and I was shouting, Efokonbale. This is a Yoruba dominated, it is Okiaro, Ogun State, a Yoruba dominated community. Efokonbale. And what did you hear? Curses. People were cursing the president. I did not mention the name of the president. I just said Efokonbale. And you know that is attributed to what Tinubu was saying, that they should calm down, that is going to get everything right. They were raining curses. This is not the town. It's not the city where you can have different people. It is the inner community. So Tinubu is not sellable with the real structure. But when you talk about the other structure, since everybody is supporting evil is going to reign in 2007. Evil, all manner of rigging, all manner of acrobatics, all manner of Maradona, all manner of bribing, all manner of writing results, all manner of glitches is going to happen for Tinubu to get into power. So if you're in Northern and you're watching this, you supported a Buhari that is incompetent, and you expect a competent person to still stay in power, and you are protesting against Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You and the Southwest, there's nothing different. When I talk about the Southwest, I'm not talking about the Yoruba. There's a difference between, not all Yorubas are the same. When I say the Southwest, they can now pick those that have championed this cause. Those Yoruba leaders that have championed this cause of bigotry, propaganda, and gaslighting. Even the government is alleged to be involved in such. So the North decided to keep mum under Buhari's 8 years and expected the Southwest to allow protests. Look at what's happening in Lagos. Agbero's thugs are carrying out threats on protesters, beating protesters in the front of the police. And the police is folding their hands and looking. And somebody will just go out and give a press statement that there's no record of people that died, that there's no violence. You think that you can rule with propaganda or tribal bigotry? If you win by tribal bigotry, you cannot rule by tribal bigotry. If you're a bigot, you cannot bring development. That's why I'm very much convinced that Tinubu will not perform. Tinubu will not perform, especially now that the North is heated up. The North is doing all it can to sabotage his government. I said that we are having food crisis because we are overly dependent on the North, and the North is teaching us with it. Most of the times, these food items are not supposed to be costly. The middleman, they are making it costly. They are sabotaging the presidency of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That's what you get when you build your house on criminality, on a criminal structure. So it is the structure that will get Tinubu to the presidency. Let the North continue willing. The North should wait for 8 years. After 8 years, they can have a shot at power. And after 8 years, then we know that if you are in power now, power is transient. When the Yorubas leave power, which I believe that Tinubu will be the last president. But in case it doesn't happen, the Yorubas leave power and a Northerner comes, then you will see politics. You are supporting people being harassed because there's somebody at the presidency and he looks like your brother or your tribe. You are supporting evil because of tribe. It will get to a point, 8 years is not too far. Before we know, when Buhari started, when did he end? 8 years, just yesterday. Buhari did all he can. He started his nepotism, all of the thing, and employing. Tinubu came and did much, much worse. Much more worse. And let me tell you one thing. It is being said that Buhari is better than Tinubu. Tinubu will be better than the next president. That's the fact. Tinubu will be better than the next president. If you people don't look towards restructuring the country can never get better. Everybody is trying to have his or her interests satisfied, not the interest of developing the country or bringing good governance to the people. Everybody is interested, irrespective of whether they are Igbo, Hausa, or Yoruba. Everybody is just interested in that. If we don't galvanize regionalism, restructuring, or balkanization, Nigerians or people that are in Nigeria will not get good governance. People like you and I will not get good governance, because if the Igbos are rejecting Hope Uzodinma as their governor, a Fulani will install Hope Uzodinma against your wish as a people. But if it were to be the Eastern region, they don't want Hope Uzodinma to be as, nobody's going to influence it. Nobody's going to influence it. But the reason why we're here is that you in your region, you might not be able to influence anything as much as you can. Look at this ash, Igbo must go. If it were the southwest region, Oduduwa, they will carry it out ASAP. You know that the government is involved. You know that the government has a soft landing for that Igbo must go. They will carry it out ASAP. They will make sure it is implemented. But because there is a center and two people spoke, the guy that was posting that thing, Igbo must go, disappeared. Two people spoke. They were not Southeasterners. Two people spoke. Atiku spoke, and the owners of Nigeria, Babangida, former head of state, Babangida. Somebody asked me the other time, what do I mean by the owners of Nigeria? Two people spoke, and swiftly the Lagos State governor distanced himself from that person. When you look at that Lagos Pedia, you see that most officials are following the handle. They are seeing what he's doing. They kept mum, just like police will see thugs harassing people. They keep mum. They did not take action. But when some people spoke, two people from the north spoke, they took action. But if it were a regional system, Igbo will go. Igbo will go. They will make it difficult for any other tribe. So, if we get to our different regions, there will be competition, competitiveness, and it's going to bring development and growth. Where there's competition, there will be growth. We had only Nitel then. Nitel, people were calling with Nitel. No development in the telecommunications industry. But when they brought in Mnet, Etisalat, Glo, MTN, you can see how developed the competition, the competitiveness of this telecom company made everything so easy. So when there is competition amongst this region, because the north will not want to sleep while the east is developing, nor will the east sleep while the southwest is developing. Everybody wants to develop and explore all measures to make sure that they get governance, good roads, hospitals, good roads, workable hospitals, electricity, development hubs all over the state, investment, inviting investment, agriculture. They will make sure all these things are working, and it will benefit the indigenes of those regions. That is why it is important to look at restructuring of the country, because as the countries join together, few people are the ones benefiting from the different regions. Nigerians are not benefiting, and you cannot benefit with this system. So we are praying that the north and the southwest, they should continue fighting, and the fight should not end at all. They should continue fighting until we all come together, having a consensus that we must have referendum, and let's go to regional system or balkanization of Nigeria. Thank you.